The first problem asks you to take a quadratic equation and write it in vertex form. So on your paper, write vertex form. And this is the equation we're going to use. Now, vertex form uses something very similar to completing the square. So we already learned like a week ago how to complete the square. So we're going to use that same type of concept and apply it. But now instead of having just an equation that we use completing the square to solve for x, we're going to use that concept within an actual quadratic function here. So the first thing is we're going to get rid of the constant. When I move a positive 60 to the opposite side, it becomes negative. Then we're going to factor out the leading coefficient if it's different than 1. Negative 6 divided by negative 6. Negative 9 divided by negative 6. Okay, negative 9 divided by negative 6. Well, I know two negatives make a positive, and 9 divided by 6 reduces to 3/2. Now, what we did when we solved for x is we would divide both sides by negative 6, right? But we're not solving for x, we're just rewriting this in vertex form. So don't divide by negative 6. Common misconception right now when placing it in vertex form. Instead, we're going to skip that step and we're going to go on to dividing b by 2. So 3/2 divided by 2. You absolutely could use a calculator and divide it by 2. But remember, the shortcut is just to double the denominator. So 2 when you double it becomes 4. So I have negative 6 x plus 3/4, because 2 doubled is 4, quantity squared. The second part most students get a little confused on, and rightfully so, is we have to fill in this number, which means I have to double 3/4. If I double 3, because I'm squaring it, I shouldn't have said the word double, I should have said the word squaring. When I square 3/4, 3 times 3 is 9, and 4 times 4 is 16. But do not add 9/16 over here. This is correct, but now you have to account for this negative 6 that we never divided. So when you distribute this, I need to know really what is this value when you distribute the negative 6. So on your calculator, please type in negative 6. And then we're going to place 9/16 in parentheses. This will represent the value that I just attached to the right-hand side. I'm going to put it back into a fraction, which is negative 27 over 8. So to keep this equation balanced, whatever you do to the right, you must also do to the left. I'm now going to attach a negative 27 over 8 to the left-hand side. Use your calculator and please combine negative 60 and negative 27 over 8. Put it back into a fraction. And the very last step now is to isolate the y. So I'm going to take this value, I'm going to move it to the opposite side. When it moves over, it changes signs. This is vertex form. Vertex form in this equation reveals 3 things. First, it reveals what the vertex is. Negative 3/4 and positive 507 over 8. Second, it reveals, and you can say this in one of 2 ways. You can say reflect across the x-axis, or you could say opens downward. And lastly, this number. As a reminder, if this number is between 0 and 1, we say it vertically compresses, and if it's above 1, we say vertically stretches. So this is vertically stretches by a factor of 6.